do not get to be in my neighborhood. You do not come to my door. I told you you are not allowed on my property. You ain't even allowed in my neighborhood.
I didn't break any laws. I didn't block the street. I didn't damage anything. I just wanted to help. And I didn't think that decision would turn into a problem. I noticed the driveway because the water always pooled at the bottom near the curb, leaving a dark, slick patch that never really dried. The homeowner was an elderly man who lived alone. His hands shook when he walked, and he moved slowly, like every step had to be negotiated with his balance first. He told me he had slipped once trying to roll the trash bin out, and since then he avoided the driveway whenever it rained. He said he stayed inside waiting for the concrete to dry, even if it meant missing appointments or meals. Hiring help wasn't an option. He lived on a fixed income and apologized just for asking if I could look at it. I told him I would clear only the dangerous edge. Nothing fancy, just enough so he could walk safely again. As the pressure washer cut a clean line through the grime, the difference was obvious. The slick surface turned rough again, and the water finally flowed away instead of sitting there like a trap. That was when the neighbor came out. Her voice was sharp and loud, cutting through the sound of the machine. She accused me of trespassing, of making a mess, of lowering property values. She held her phone up, filming, pointing at me like I was doing something criminal. She said she was calling the police, and that people like me always think the rules don't apply to them. The old man stood back near the garage, hands clasped together, eyes down, looking ashamed, like the trouble was his fault. When the patrol car arrived, the officer listened to her first. She spoke fast, angry, saying someone was going to get hurt and that this kind of work wasn't allowed. Then the officer looked at the driveway, at the water draining cleanly, and at the old man standing quietly behind us. He asked a few simple questions. Why was I here? Who owned the house? What exactly was being cleaned? The old man finally spoke, his voice shaking, explaining how scared he was to walk on his own driveway and how no one else had helped. The officer nodded, the tension shifted, and the shouting stopped. I finished the edge, packed up, and told the old man I'd be back to check on it again. I'm going back this week. If you want to hear what happens next, just type "stand up" in the comments.
I didn't break any laws, I just wanted to help someone who couldn't afford help. Today, I went to mow the lawn for an 80-year-old widow. She lives alone, on a fixed income, and her front yard had grown wild after weeks of heat and rain. She told me the city had already warned her. Clean it up or get fined. Thing is, she can't afford to pay the $300 the city charges to cut it. So I offered to do it for free. I'd barely gotten halfway through when 2 police cruisers pulled up. Lights on, doors swinging open. One officer steps out and says, "You need to shut that mower off now." I was confused. Thought maybe they were checking in. But then he told me I was trespassing and under investigation for unauthorized property maintenance. I pointed at the lady standing on her porch, waving frantically. "She asked me to help," I said. She gave me permission. They ignored her. One of them told me the yard fell under a municipal code that made it restricted property because of pending fines. The woman kept pleading, trying to explain, but they wouldn't listen. One officer handcuffed me right there in front of her. Turns out the local department offers a paid lawn service, and if neighbors or charities step in for free, they interfere with city business. I sat in the back of the cruiser, watching that poor woman cry on her porch. I wasn't charged. They let me go later with a warning, but they told me next time it would be a citation for disruption of municipal process. I'm going back this week to finish the job before they fine her, even if it means getting arrested again. If you want to hear what happens next, just type "stand up" in the comments.